League of Legends copies Dota's heroes, a phrase that's been echoed across Reddit and internet forums for a decade at this point. And honestly, it's for a good reason. As a long-time League of Legends player myself, you can't help but be a bit suspicious when looking at some League champions and the Dota heroes that came before them. This entire debate really came to a head recently with the launch of one of League's newest champions, Hwei, an Arsenal mage who takes heavy inspiration from Dota 2's Invoker. They each have the same 10 ability playstyle, with some of Hwei's abilities being a little too close to his Dota counterpart. His release was absolutely chewed up by the Dota community, with news articles even picking up the comparisons and calling Hwei a cheap copy. An amazing video by my good friend Zarpotato really showcased just how similar these two mages were, and honestly inspired me to dive deeper into this topic and see just how far these similarities go. Which is why I asked Zarpotato to coach me on 3 Dota heroes I'd never tried before, but look or play like some of my favorite League of Legends champions, so I could compare them and answer the question, how similar are Dota 2 heroes and League of Legends champions? First up on our list was Ashe and Drow Ranger. I really wanted to try these two characters for 2 main reasons. Number 1, Ashe is the first champion I really liked playing in League, starting my decade-long skin addiction. And number 2, they are both very similar in appearance and playstyle. In their kits, they each have a built-in slow on their arrows, a type of arrow volley, and a big form of crowd control. And I mean, come on, look at them. They're basically the same design. So after Zarpotato took me through a quick warm-up on Drow Ranger, I was already feeling quite at home when I jumped into my first game. One thing I need to give Dota props for right off the bat over League is how great their coaching system is. The fact that Zar could watch me play in real time through the client and even draw on my screen was massive for me, as I'm still relatively new to Dota. Speaking of new, are you looking for a new game to play? Then you're going to like this video's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is giving away so much cool stuff right now that there has literally never been a better time to jump in and start playing. First off, Raid is celebrating the arrival of spring in Teleria with a special Spring Hunt minigame event where they're giving away gaming consoles, $10,000 in gift cards, and tons of in-game items. Make sure you head over to springhunt.plarium.com, enter your Raid ID, and start searching for hidden items all around the Mistwood to win prizes. Raid is also currently running an event called Community Weeks, where if you log in for just 7 days between now and July, you'll receive a free legendary champion, Chronicler Adeline. She's a top tier support, perfect for taking on dungeons like the Sand Devil. My squad isn't quite ready to take on the Sand Devil yet, so I've mostly been playing the campaign, and honestly, I'm quite impressed with the storytelling in this mode. As a storyteller myself through videos like this, I always appreciate it when games don't just phone it in on the lore side of things, and Raid really hasn't. So what are you waiting for? Sign up using my link in the description or scanning my QR code, and you will immediately get a huge starter pack featuring the epic champion Tayrael from the High Elves faction. And you'll get another starter pack after reaching level 25. That includes Epic Rector Droth. After downloading the game via my link, you can also use the promo code SPRINGHUNT24 to get silver and so much more. Finally, make sure to join my in-game clan, Dimples Dragons, so I can see all of you on the battlefield in Raid Shadow Legends. Okay, back to the video. During the lane, both of these characters use their long range and slows to their advantage, poking down enemies and hopefully getting some kills.
Keep doing it. Just keep going, dude.
Get it! Yeah! But because you're playing an AD carry with no escapes, if you ever get a little too ambitious or push too far up in the lane, I found that you are very easily punished on Drow Ranger, just like you are on Ashe.
If they trap you, just either fight back or use it. Oh god.
Ah! One of the major differences I did learn about these characters though is how they farm. In League, you're taught to constantly wiggle around as you farm, so you're harder to hit with skill shots. Whereas in Dota, every character has something called a turn animation, making it much harder to move while farming. This made getting CS in the early game a bit of a task for me, as I needed some reminders to stop clicking around my screen all the time as I tried to farm in Dota.
So just face towards the creeps so you don't have to worry about turn animations.
Right.
Much better.
Even with this difference though, it didn't stop Zar and I from having a pretty successful laning phase on Drow.
You could probably get to him. Keep running. Nice! He's slowed. Perpetual slow.
Yeah, buddy!
Yeah!
Let's go. Because Ashe and Drow Ranger are both 80 carries, they also both scale very well with gold and can snowball pretty hard. What the hell? And since we had such a strong start in this game, we kind of popped off for the rest of it and became a bit unstoppable. Oh
Oh my god.
We ended up with a score of 17, 3, and 16 in the victory. Overall, I was super happy with how this game went, and also actually gave me a pretty nice head start in learning how to play Position 1, as now I had a character that I already kind of knew how to play from League of Legends. After tackling Draw Ranger and Ashe, we moved on to our next comparison between League's Kassadin and Dota's Queen of Pain. These two definitely don't look very alike, but they have very similar kits. They each have a point-and-click damaging spell that heals or shields them, a cone nuke with some CC, and a blink that comes up every couple of seconds. The main difference between these two lies in how their blink is used. Kassadin's blink is actually his ultimate and does insane amounts of damage when you blink directly on top of people. For Queen of Pain, blink is her W ability, does no damage but has tons more range than Kassadin's, and her E deals damage to enemies in a circle around her, almost splitting up Kassadin's ultimate blink into two separate abilities. Once I learned about Queen of Pain's abilities and got into game, Zar was quick to let me know that unlike Kassadin, who basically isn't even a champion until level 6,
Okay, made it to level 6. Nice.
Queen of Pain is kind of the opposite. You have decent strength in the early game and hit a big power spike at level 6 with your ultimate. So I decided to try and take advantage of that early game power, but while doing so, started playing her like Kassadin and almost paid the price for it.
Oh, do not blink on him.
Whoa! Yee-hee. Sorry.
Thankfully, we were able to turn it around though and secure some much needed early game kills to get that snowball rolling.
You have level 6, which is the only way you can actually kill him.
Okay. Oh,
Ult his ass.
I'll think. Hey!
Yeah.
One of the great things about Queen of Pain is, like Kassadin, you basically have a get out of jail free card whenever you overextend, which was very nice for a noob like me.
All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah. See ya. No thanks.
Okay.
Nope.
Welcome to Kassadin gameplay.
After getting a couple kills in lane, I started roaming around the map
Okay,
to
going
increase
in.
my impact on the game. While getting into more fights, I discovered some interesting things about Queen of Pain.
Whee!
She has such a similar kit to Kassadin, yet feels quite different to play. With Kassadin, you're a melee assassin who wants to blink on top of someone's face, blowing them up instantly. Whereas with Queen of Pain, you want to use your blink to keep your distance a bit more and burst heroes down from afar because you're so squishy and have decent range on your spells and auto attacks. This was one of the main things I struggled with and messed up throughout the game, as on Queen of Pain I always wanted to finish people off by jumping on their head like you do with Kassadin.
And just blink out.
Nope, wrong
That's
way.
the wrong way.
I keep forgetting it does new damage.
Thankfully, that mistake wasn't enough to make us lose the game, and we were able to close it out with a victory, and I had a final score of 10, 2, and 14. That meant I had a record of 27, 5, and 30 over my first two games playing League like Champions of Dota, which I would say was quite a success. However, Queen of Pain was the first tier in this challenge that showed me that even if two characters seem like they're the same on paper, when they're in the games, they can actually feel very, very different. And that feeling continued with the last comparison in this challenge between Mars and Pantheon. I specifically chose Mars because he reminded me of my favorite champion to play in League of Legends. They throw spears with their Q, have a form of burst and CC on their W, and block damage with their E. The problem is, the way they play is very different. As Pantheon, you are very strong in isolation, pushing waves, getting a lot of solo kills through comboing your abilities, and taking objectives like towers. When you play him like I do, you're essentially a side laner who can pick off champions easily in 1v1 scenarios. Whereas Mars, as I was finding out, gets his strength from being a tanky initiator with his various forms of CC and ultimate Arena of Blood.
Yeah, there we go.
And so, when I jumped into my first game on Mars, I assumed I had the same amount of crazy early game damage, ability cycles, and kill pressure as I did on Pantheon, causing me to overextend, run out of mana, and get punished for it.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Face towards them to run away. Remember the
Right.
combo.
Ah!
I was able to transfer over my spear throwing skills though, and secure some nice kills with it.
Yay!
Nice night.
Kobe.
Hey, it's a Pantheon player on this game.
It is.
Another big difference between Mars and Pantheon is their kill threat.
Ah! Woo! Okay, got him.
Mars had high initial burst damage with his CC, but needed some follow-up damage from his team after he engages to fully 100 to 0 his targets. Whereas with Pantheon, you can usually 100 to 0 targets all on your own.
Hey, that works.
Unfortunately, in this game, I wasn't getting much help from my teammates, and it made securing kills a hell of a lot harder.
You have an ally nearby. He's dying to creeps, by the way. Dude, holy shit.
Thankfully, in the mid-game, both my teammates and I started coordinating a bit better on the engages and started a bit of a comeback, as we were very far behind. But as we were coming back, I made some critical errors with Mars and his knockbacks. learning some very important lessons about Dota's high ground the hard way.
What?
You just pushed him down.
What? You can do that?
I was having a really hard time with the whole spatial awareness and different elevations aspect of Mars's knockbacks, and definitely did some light trolling because of it.
To you.
Why?
Dude,
What?
And that combination of light trolling and my teammates just dropping like flies ended up being too much for me on my first game of Mars. And before I knew it, the enemy team was at my Ancient. I put up one last valiant stand in defense as I tried to keep my 3-0 record hopes alive, but it just wasn't enough this time around.
I
Press
clicked
everything.
it. I clicked it.
Go, go, go. There he is.
No.
No.
I ended the game 8, 13, and 11, putting my final totals over the 3 games to 35, 18, and 41, with 2 wins and 1 loss. But looking back at these numbers, they really make a lot of sense. I did the best on the first hero in this challenge, who was the most like their League of Legends counterpart. And the more different they got, the more I struggled to play in the game. That's because I try and use the strategies I learned playing their League lookalike, and it would usually backfire inside of Dota because that just isn't how they're meant to be played inside of this game. Which brings us back to the question we posed at the beginning of this video. How similar are Dota 2 heroes and League of Legends champions? Well, it's complicated. You see, all of these characters seem very similar on paper with either their looks, their kits, or both. However, each have been altered just enough to play quite differently in their respective games. Mars is a tanky initiator, while Pantheon is a side-leading duelist. Caston is a melee assassin who uses his blink to jump on people's faces, while Queen of Pain is a ranged, squishy assassin who uses her blink to reposition. And even Ashe and Drow Ranger still feel a bit different to play because of Dota's turn animations, and League's lack thereof. So yes, absolutely these game devs take inspiration from one another when designing their characters, causing them to look similar at first glance, but when you actually dive in and give them a try, you realize they're all pretty unique in their own games. Thank you all so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and a huge shout out to my friend Zarbatato for collaborating on this video with me. I couldn't have done it without him, and it was so much fun to film.
Oh, wait. What did I just do? What did I
You
do?
just blinked in place.
Man.
And if you've made it this far, please let me know down in the comments what characters you think are the most similar between Dota 2 and League of Legends. Also, while you're down there, please check out my unique link to start your journey in Raid Shadow Legends and collect all your free bonuses. Alright everyone, I'll see you in the next one.